And I think
so
you could
too.
see next year
I
Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris combo.
actually would like to see Fernando step away from McLaren.
Well,
Really?
I don't think that it's the best idea to have him test the car this week.
Okay.
Here's why. When I told you this, guys, before the show too, in the post race, Lando, they asked him. I think Sky Sports did. They were like, so what do you attribute the early success to? Why you guys have improved? And he's like, the drivers.
You said it as a joke because there's no way that he's going to say he's better than Fernando Alonso.
No.
Well, there was also in that Netflix documentary, I don't know if you still finished watching it, they interviewed him at the very end, and they were basically talking about how, like, Danny Kiffey, a few other drivers come into F1 really young, and then they don't survive. And they were just like, what do you think is gonna make you basically survive in this year's F1? He's like, I'm better than everybody else.
Well, he is sick at iRacing. I tell him not much.
So
he's confident.
He's confident. I think that's what it comes down to. And yeah, you're right. For 18, 19-year-old kid to be in F1 and doing so well with McLaren, who's got a great history behind them.
Yeah. Is this
You
the
gotta be
kind of the
confident.
turn of McLaren too? Are we seeing them start to come back and be the McLaren we know? Because this year kind of seems like a big step for them.
I agree with Chris here. I think Fernando needs to step away from McLaren. I just don't think he's a good, like, he was obviously did really well for them, but last year I think wasn't a good fit for them at all. I think he was controlling the entire team, and if he's gonna be making comments on how the car is doing, I don't think it's the right person.
He's obviously one of the greatest drivers, period, ever.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of success in Formula One, outside of Formula One. His talent, there's no question about that. And he can give valuable information. But my point is that, like you said, that he holds way too much power over the team. When Eric Boulier left, how much of that was Fernando Alonso's influence?
Right.
The whole team has to work on making Fernando happy, not Stoffel, not Sainz or Lando, whoever he'd be driving with. So I think that stifles the development a little bit. And he's, 34, 35. He's technically retired. So he's looking at the end of his career. But with Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz, they're the future. They're younger guys. So with McLaren, they can easily build a car around these two young drivers. I think they'll have a lot more flexibility because you don't have a guy like Alonso who you're worried about is going to be complaining about this, or when Honda was there, obviously that relationship was, destroyed because of Alonso's comments. He's a very bold personality, and that's tough to manage, I think, sometimes. But I think that if McLaren wants to turn a new page, which it seems like they're starting to, you kind of gotta... You either got to ask Fernando, what do you want to do here? Are you going to come back? But I don't agree for Fernando to come back next year and, kick Carlos Sainz out.
Right. Yeah, it's not fair to Sainz.